Hey guys, welcome back. I just had that first meeting with you guys on Zoom. I loved it. I loved being able to see your faces and talk to you guys. I can't tell you how much I already miss you guys, and you guys have already heard me say that like about 3 times to you that I already miss you. So today's game activity is, are you smarter than a fourth grader? I highly encourage you to grab your parents, grab some siblings, especially if they're older, and see if they can complete this game. Are you smarter than a fourth grader? Each time there's only going to be 4 levels. Level 1's going to be pretty easy. Level 2 is going to be a little bit harder. Level 3 and then level 4 is going to be the hardest. You're going to try to see if which level did you get eliminated from because you weren't able to pass that level. And then let's see, even can your parents or can you guys get all the way through all 4 levels? So each level, I will show you a problem. You're going to pause the video. You're going to solve it. Have your parents solve it, your siblings, whoever, your friends. Solve the problem, and then I'll show you the answer to see if you made it to level 2. Alright, so if you're ready, here we go. Level 1 problem, pretty basic multiplication. I don't care if you solve it the standard way or area box method. I don't care how you solve it, just go ahead and solve the problem. So level number 1. 2 basic multiplication problems. I got 23 times 57 and 3 times 1,256. Go ahead and pause the video so that way you can go ahead and solve this problem. Alright, so if you're ready, here comes the answer. So if you're not ready, pause the video, okay? Wait until you and your family or whoever you're competing against, or maybe just yourself, until you're ready. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so I'm going to solve the problems. I'm going to solve them using the box method, only because I know that that's the majority of what my students loved using. Now, of course, do the standard way, and if you would want me to say, like, Miss Philippo, I don't know why I got the standard way wrong, take a picture of it, send it to me in Google Classroom, or email it to me, and I'll explain to you what you might have made a mistake on, okay? So if you did it the standard way, just take a picture, email it to me, and I'll show you how to correct it. Alright, so here we go. So if I have 2 digits, 20 and 30, I know that I'm going to have 20 and 3, not 30, I meant 3. And then I got 50 and 7. So I know I have 50 and 7 up here. So remember, if we drew our box method, okay, I know that I need to multiply out each of the possibilities. I have to multiply each of the place values together to figure out what the total answer is. So right here, I have 20 times 50. So 2 times 5 is 10, and then I have the 2 zeros to be adding in, so I have 1,000 there. Right here is where 20 and 7 are meeting, so I have 20 times 7. So I know that 2 times 7 is 14, and then since I'm talking about the tens, I just know to add a 0 there. So I have 140. Here is 5 times 3, which is 15. But I'm talking about 50s of the 3, so I need to add a 0 there. And lastly, right here, 7 times that 3 is 21. Once again, you could have done this the standard way. All that matters is you get the answer in the end. So one last thing is you can't leave it like this because that's not an answer. You have to make sure you add all your partial products together to figure out what the answer is. So I got 1,000, 140, 150, and 21. Add them all up. So 1, that's 9 plus 2 is 11, and I got 3. So no matter what, you should have gotten 1,311 for the first problem, okay? So hopefully you got that one, but you didn't pass level 1 if you just got this one correct. You also have to get this one right as well. So let's go ahead and do this one. This one I will do it the standard way, so that way you, any of those who are doing the standard way, I'll go ahead and show you it. 1,256 times 3. Once again, I know that I have to multiply 3 to each of my set of my place values. So I'm going to go ahead and do 3 times 6 first. which is 18, but I know with my number sense that I can't put 18 in the one spot. You can only have room for one. So what I'm going to do is that one extra 10 that I had here, I'm going to be adding it over here into my tens, with my tens, which 5 is in the tens. So now I need to do 3 times that 5, which was 15. But remember that one extra 10 I had, so now it's 16. Once again, I can't put 16 in my tens. I don't have enough room. I can only put 6 here and put the 1 up here. Now I have 3 times that 200, which is known as 6, but I have that one extra 100 from before, so now I have 7. And then lastly, 3 times 1 is 3. So this one you should have gotten 3,768. So if you pass level 1, here comes level 2. Alrighty, so here comes level 2. Now remember, the whole idea is that it is going to get harder each time as we get through. So hopefully you and your parents got past level 1. Here comes my problem level 2. Alright, so level 2 is another basic problem. I just have basic division here. 357 divided by 5. So you are either going to do it the long division way, the traditional way, or you're going to do your boxes. Whichever method that you like, go ahead and start solving the problem. For my students, remember, you should be skip counting by your 5s to help you realize how many times is 5 go into each place value. Alrighty, so pause the video until you are ready for the answer, okay? Alright guys, so pause the video if you weren't ready for the answer for level 2, okay? So I'm about to go over the problems. Once again, pause the video until you're ready to check your work. Alright, so I'm actually going to solve this problem both traditional and box method, because I know that a lot of parents out there, if you're doing this, you probably are familiar with traditional method. So I will show both ways just so everyone can see and check their work, okay? But I will start with the box method that a lot of my students are used to using, which technically is the traditional method. We just work it out sideways. So the question is, how many times can 5 fit into this value of 357? So what we do is we break it up to see how many groups of 100 can I do, how many groups of 10s can I do, and how many groups of 1s can I do. So we're going to split it up, okay? So I try to first ask myself, how many times can 5 fit into 3? Can I get groups of 100? Can I get groups of 5? I can't, okay, because 5 is already too big. So hopefully you put 0 up here. So since I grabbed 0 hundredth, I'm going to have to regroup. 5 times 0 is 0. So I have 300 left over. So this 300 is going to regroup into my 10s. So technically now I had 35 10s. So now you would count by your 5s to see how many groups of 10s can I get here. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's exactly what I needed here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 groups of that 5. So 7 comes up here. So 7 groups of that 5 is 35. And I have 0 10s left over. You don't have to show that the 0 comes up here, but you can if you want to. It's just saying that you have 0 10s. So now I'm stuck with just 7 1s. Now how many groups of those 5 can I do with those 7 1s? 5, 10. 10 is too big, so I can only do one group of that 5. And 5 times that 1 is 5, so I have 2 left over. So my answer is 71, remainder of 2, because I had 2 left over in the end. Now I will show you just with the traditional method, it's the exact same thing, the exact same numbers, but you're just used to going down. So I have 357 divided by 5. 5 can't go into 100, so 0 or 3. So 0 times 5 is 0. So I have 3 left over. Bring down my 5. We just brought up the 3, same thing. So now I have 35. Should be 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. I have 0 left over. So now I bring down my 7. So now it's how many times can 5 go into 7? 1 time. And I have 2 left over in the end. So the answer is 71, remainder 2. Either way, you should have gotten 71, remainder 2. So if you got that, you're still in the running for being smarter than a 4th grader. Alrighty, so if you're still here, that means you're on to level 3. There's one more level after this, okay? Then you would have proved that you were smarter than a 4th grader. Alright, so here is the next 4th grade problem. This one has to do with fractions. This is the last thing that we kind of did before we went on this break. So hopefully you remember, because we did do this right before we left. So, first problem is change this 2 wholes and 1/5 into an improper fraction and change this one into a mixed number. So we did talk about decomposing this, and I will give you a hint here. If you don't want this hint, just pause the video now, but I will give you a hint. The big hint that I talked about was first that this, you probably want to rewrite this fraction as 1 plus 1 plus 1/5. Okay, and then you'll change each one of these back into a fraction, okay? Think about how many fifths do I need to make one whole, okay? How many fifths do I need to make that one, okay? And then how many fifths do I need to make this one? And then add them all up together to see how many total fifths are at the end. This one is the opposite. You're now decomposing it into see how many whole values do we have and what's left over in the end. So you should be breaking this up into how many wholes do we have. So you gotta think in your head, how many fourths do I need to make one? And then you write that down. And then plus, can I do another 1 whole of the fourths? And then see how many you can do before you run out, because I only have 13. Okay, hopefully that helped. That's my little hint, okay? Let's see. This one's kind of hard, so let's see if you or your parents or your siblings can figure this one out. Alright, so if you're here, you are ready now to watch the answer, okay? I'll solve these problems. Now, for those of you who are in older grades or parents, you probably learned a different way on how to do this. One was called Around the World, where you would multiply and add, and this one you would just divide. I haven't taught that to them, so you're more than welcome to show that to your show that method to them, but I did not show that way. I only showed decomposing how to get to the answer. Alright, so this one right here, I need to change this into an improper fraction, which basically just means I want to know how many total fifths do I have here. So I had 2 whole values in 1/5. So I broke that 2 into 1 plus 1, because that's 2, and then I still have that 1/5 left over. Now I gotta change each of these ones back into a fraction. Well, you should be thinking in your head, how many fifths make 1 whole? Well, 5. 5 over 5, right? 5 over 5 means I have 1. And then plus another 5 over 5 equals another 1. And then I have 1/5. So now to figure out what's my improper fraction, what's the total amount of fifths I have here? Well, 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 1, you should have done 11 fifths. That was the answer to this first one. This one right here is going backwards. We're going the opposite way. We're starting here and we're working our way back up to this, okay? So we're going the other direction now. So this one you have to decompose, which break it down again, into how many fourths make a whole. Well, 4 fourths is 1 plus, well, that's only 4. I could do another 4. That's only 8. I have to get up to 13. That's another 4, 8. Well, I can do another 4 because 4, 8, another 4 is 12. Could I do another 4 fourths though? Hopefully you said no, because that's 16. I only have 13. So let's count how much we have so far. 4, 8, 12. How much more do I need to get back to 13? 4, 8, 12. One more, right? Because one more gets me back to that 13 that I needed. So now you count how many whole numbers do I have and what's the fraction in the end. So this means I had 1. This means I had 1. This means I had 1, and I just have that 1/4. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 and 1/4. So hopefully you got that. 11 fifths and 3 whole values and 1/4. So hopefully you got that. here comes now level 4. Alright guys, so if you're here, you passed all levels, or you haven't passed all of them, but you're still wanting to try level 4. Now level 4 is designed to be the hardest level, okay? So I'm giving you a word problem. I'll go over the word problem 2 times for you, and then pause the video, try to solve it, and then watch the next video for the answer. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so level 4 problem. So at a baseball park, there's 3 different sections that people can sit in. In section 1, there could be 200 people. In section 2, there's 20 fewer people than can be in section 1. In section 3, there's 2 times the amount than whatever section 2 was. So the answer is, what's the total number of people who are who can come? Pause the video if you don't want hints. So I'm about to give you some hints. So pause if you don't want the hint. Alright, so if you're still here, you want my hint. Alright, so to solve this problem, you first need to figure out how many people are in this section and how many people are in this section. Because the only number we know right now is section 1. So we have to solve section 2 first. So let's reread what section 2 says. 20 fewer people than section 1. So I have to find what 20 fewer than this is. So you have to do that work somewhere. Think about what operation is fewer saying. Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Which one is fewer? And then solve it. So now you know what number section 2 is. You can now figure out section 3. It says 2 times whatever this section 2 is. Whatever that number is. 2 times. So now think in your head, what operation is that? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? What operation is that? After you have all 3 numbers solved, you now have to figure out what the total is. So now think, what does the word total mean? Does total mean I need to add all of them together, subtract all of them, multiply all of them, divide all of them? So then you have to do those with all 3 of those sections to figure out what the total amount is. So there's my hint. In the next video, I'll be showing my answer. Alright, so if you're here, you're ready for me to go over the answer. This is the last level, okay? So, let's go over the level, or let's go over the problem. So in section 1, I already know there's 200. There's nothing to do there. Section 2 says there's 20 fewer than section 1. So fewer, hopefully you know that means subtracting. So I need to do 200 subtract 20. Okay, you can either do that mentally in your head, you just already know the answer, or let's just go ahead and let's borrow and everything. 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 2 I can't do, so I have to borrow from the hundreds, that becomes 10. 10 minus 2 is 8, that's 1. Alright, so now I know that section 2, this section right here, is 180. Okay, it's 100, oops, that was 180. Alright, now that I know that, now let's figure out what section 3 is. Section 3 says it's 2 times this number of section 2, which means I have 2 times the 180. So hopefully you can either do that in your head, timesing it by 2, or let's write out the problem. So I have 180 times 2, because that's what 2 times means. 180 times 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus that 1 extra is 360. Now it says, what's the total number of students? Or not students, total number of people who can come to the baseball park. So now what I have to do is add up all of those numbers together. Section 1 is 200. Section 2 is 180. Section 3 is 360. So let's add them all up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 6 is 14. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So hopefully you got the answer of 740. So if you did that, you completed all 4 levels of this challenge. So if you did all 4 levels, you are now officially smarter than a 1st grader. My next couple of videos, I won't be posting videos until next week. So look for a new one on Monday. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!